Hi everyone, welcome to the class. In the last class, we have seen the properties of matter, how to measure it. So we have seen with the help of 7 fundamental quantities. So we have seen the measurement. So in the types of properties as physical properties and chemical properties. So physical properties are those which do not require a chemical change, or without changing the composition of matter, the property can be measured. Whereas the chemical properties are those which requires a chemical change. With examples, we discuss the concept. Then to measure such properties, we dependent on the unit system. So we learned with SI unit system the 7 fundamental quantities and the SI units used for that and its respective symbols. And to express a very high value or very low values, so we are going to use the prefixes for the measured units. And such prefixes we have seen both for fractions and multiples. So from 10 to the power of -1 to 24, similarly 10 to the power of +1 to 10 to the power of +24. So just recall all those concepts. Now we'll try to continue with the next concepts, continuation topics in the present class. Now, one of the important difference-based concept we need to learn. So because we will be using the word mass and weight, and we don't know exactly what exact meaning of mass and weight. So we need to understand what is mass exactly and what is weight exactly by understanding the matter and its importance. Now, so mass of any substance is going to be the amount of matter present in a given substance. Whatever the substance you take, the amount of matter present in it, so will give its mass. Whereas the weight is a concept where whatever the amount of matter present in a given particular substance, on such matter, whatever the gravitational force acting on it, so is giving its weight. So weight is the gravitational force acting on a substance. Mass is the amount of substance present in a given particular substance. Mass will not vary, it will be fixed, because whatever the matter present in a given substance is fixed, and the elements, compounds, molecules, whatever present in it, so will not vary. Hence, mass remains constant. Whereas we cannot expect the gravitational force is same. So because if we consider the weight of a person, so in a ground level and above a ground level with much height or below the ground level, so you cannot expect the gravitational force is same in all those areas. For example, in moon if we take, and on the surface of earth if we take, so the gravitational force is different. Or in high altitudes if we take, and in the low altitudes if we take, the gravitational force differs. Hence, we need to be very clear when we are using the terms mass and weight, that we'll try to understand. So it's what it is discussed. Mass of a substance is the amount of matter present in it. The amount of matter present will give the mass of a substance. And such mass of a substance is constant. That means it does not vary. Mass of a substance will not vary, will remain as a constant. Then, if we observe weight, so weight is the force exerted by gravity on an object. So whatever the object is there on which the force exerted by gravity will be giving its weight. So weight may vary from one place to another due to change in gravity. So in the form of differences, you please try to remember these two. So mass is the amount of matter present in it. Weight is the force exerted by gravity on an object. Mass remains constant. Weight varies from one place to another place. Hope that is clear. Now we'll try to understand one more important one. It is volume. We know that generally volume is calculated as length into breadth into height. So whatever it is, so length, breadth, and height, so all it is mentioning the same. So it is the distance. So breadth can be taken as length again, height can be taken as length again. So because it is the distance what we are going to take, so we'll consider that as length into length into length. So hence, so it will be unit for length. So what we are going to use, we can recall. So the SI unit of length is meter. So hence it is meter cube is the SI unit of volume. So volume has the unit length cube. So length into breadth into height. Breadth and height is also taken as a length because it is a distance measuring the. So hence length into length into length. So the unit of length is meter, hence it is meter into meter into meter will be meter cube. But meter values will be very high. So hence, so its respective prefix related values are also used in the measurement. A few such information is given in the next point. You can just observe that. So first, if we concentrate on the SI unit, so SI unit of volume is meter cube. Now, a common unit liter, which is not an SI unit, is used for measurement of volume of the liquid. So generally volume of the liquid is measured in liter, but how this liter is related to the SI unit of meter cube with its prefixes centi or deci, we'll try to consider. We know that 1 liter measures 1000 milliliters. So 1 liter refers to 1000 milliliters. So we know that, so milli is 10 to the power of minus 3. So 10 to the power of minus 3 and 1000 is 10 to the power of plus 3 and minus 3 will be 0 and 10 to the power of 0 is 1. So will become 1 liter. Hence 1 liter is 1000 milliliter. So 1000 is 10 to the power of plus 3. Milli value is 10 to the power of minus 3. So and liter. So plus 3 and minus 3 power terms gets added. Plus 3 minus 3 is 0. We know that any value to the power 0 is 1 and 10 to the power of 0 is equal to 1 liter. So that everyone knows the basic information, but how ml can be related with other we'll try to consider. Now 1000 ml will be equal to 1000 centimeter cube. So 1000 ml will be equal to 1000 centimeter cube. Now, so instead of writing that, so 1000 we know it is 10 to the power of 3. So centi is 10 to the power of minus 2. Now it will be 10 to the power of plus 1. Now 10 to the power of plus 1 is, so you can consider decimeter. So deci value is 10 to the power of minus 1 and this will become with 10 to the power of plus 1. So if you consider that, it will become again 10 to the power of 0, hence we can take it as 1 decimeter cube. That is what the unit, its prefix if you relate. So everyone knows this basic information. The 1 liter will be equal to 1000 milliliter, but how exactly it is 1 liter I have shown with prefix information. The unit prefix m indicates minus 3. Similarly, 1000 ml will be equal to 1000 cm cube. So that cm cube can be given as 1 decimeter cube. So you can learn with this information. So hence 1 liter or 1 decimeter cube refers to same, or 1000 ml 1000 centimeter cube refers to same. Like this, the units are very helpful in the interconversions. Try to practice the prefixes first. Remember the prefix and its indicative power term. Now we'll learn with one more important measurement quantity, which is density. Density of a substance is its amount of mass per unit volume. So that is, density is defined as the ratio of mass by volume. Mass per unit volume is defined as density. Now, if we focus on the unit of density, we have volume, density, and mass and weight to remember. So volume and density, it is given to learn with its SI units, will be asked for 1 mark and 2 mark question. So volume, what we learned, it is meter cube. So as meter cube value will be more, now, so liter conversion to decimeter cube, you can easily relate there for the unit expression. Here density, now density is defined as the ratio of mass by volume or its amount of mass per unit volume. Now, if we concentrate the SI unit of density, so SI unit of density is mass is expressed in kg from SI unit system. Volume is mentioned in, so it is meter cube. So hence the SI unit of density is kg per meter cube. So kg per meter cube is the SI unit of density. But so when we use a smaller quantities, because in kgs and all will not be used in the laboratory scale. Hence, so there are smaller values are used to indicate the unit system. And instead of kg, so we'll convert that into grams. If mass is expressed in gram, then the length we'll try to consider instead of meter, centimeter. So hence length into length as a volume, we'll take it as cm cube. Hence the SI unit of density is also gram per centimeter cube if the values are smaller in magnitude. If the values are larger, then kg per meter cube will be the expressing unit for density. If it is a smaller quantity, gram per centimeter cube will be used as the SI unit. And the SI unit of density is kg per meter cube or gram per centimeter cube. Kg per meter cube or gram per centimeter cube. So very simple one, everyone knows it, but you try to recollect and keep the topics in the order, so for relating the unit contents. Now we learn with the next concept, a very important one. So everyone knows, but the different scales, how it is used, and how the value of temperature given in one scale can be converted into another scale. So this can be asked for 2 mark numerical problems also. So, and a very important concept for competitive exam too. So you can expect numerical problems based on the conversion of value from one scale to another scale. The temperature given in one scale to another scale. So with a different temperature scale unit, we need to mention. Hence, we'll try to learn what are the different scales. Now, there are 3 common scales are used for measurement of temperature. They are degree Celsius scale, degree Fahrenheit scale, Kelvin scale. In this, the SI unit is the Kelvin scale. So Kelvin is the SI unit of temperature. So how these 3 scales differ and how it is calibrated, that is how the range of the scale is taken, all such informations will try to focus. So to recall, the temperature is measured in 3 different scales. It is degree Celsius scale, degree Fahrenheit scale, and Kelvin scale. So Kelvin is the SI unit of temperature. Now, the thermometer is the instrument which is used to measure the temperature. So it is the instrument which is used for measuring the temperature. Such thermometers are given in degree Celsius scale or Fahrenheit scale or in the Kelvin scale. So generally Kelvin scale thermometers are not available. So whatever the degree Celsius value or Fahrenheit value is there, that can be converted into Kelvin scale. So now if we observe, so the thermometer observed in the Celsius scale, so it is calibrated from 0 degrees to 100 degree. Now what is this 0 and 100 taken as a calibration standard is that, so 0 degree will be indicating the freezing point of the pure water, and the highest value in the scale 100 degrees indicates the boiling point of pure water. So hence the calibration range, so 0 to 100, why it is taken in the degree Celsius scale? Because so water as a standard, so whose freezing point 0 degrees is taken as an initial scale reading, and boiling point of the water, so that is 100 degrees Celsius, will be taken as a, uh, the highest value in the scale reading. Similarly, if we take in the Fahrenheit scale, the same 32 and 212 signifies the same. 32 degree Fahrenheit is the freezing point of pure water, whereas 212 degree Fahrenheit is the boiling point of pure water. So here the difference between 0 to 100 is 100. Here 32 to 212 is 180. So in the scale range, so from the starting value to final value, so if you consider the freezing point of water and freezing, that is boiling point of water, in the two scales, so in the Celsius scale the value differs by 100, so in the Fahrenheit scale the value differ by 180. So that is a very significant number, so in learning the unit conversion formula, that is how to convert degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. So there these two differences of scale values are significant. So try to remember these difference values. In the degree Celsius, so 100 is the difference between the freezing point and boiling point of water. In the Fahrenheit scale, between the freezing point and boiling point of water, the value of difference is 180. Now, if you observe this particular diagram, so it gives the thermometers available in the scales. If you take 273.15 Kelvin, so it represents the 0 degree Celsius, so which is the freezing point of pure water, and 100 degree Celsius in the Kelvin scale, it is 373.15 Kelvin, so will be the boiling point of water. Then in the Fahrenheit scale, so 212 degree Fahrenheit is again the boiling point of pure water, and 32 degree Fahrenheit is the freezing point of pure water. If we take the room temperature, 25 degrees Celsius will be equal to 298.15 Kelvin, so will be equal to 77 degree Fahrenheit. So if we take human body temperature, it is 37 degree Fahrenheit, that is 37 degree Celsius. So on the Kelvin scale, the value is 310.15, and on the Fahrenheit scale, it is 98.6. Now the values are given here, but how it is converted, we'll try to focus. So it will be very, very important one. That is how degree Celsius value can be changed to Kelvin scale or can be changed to Fahrenheit scale. We'll try to remember with the formula, and that formula based calculations are important. If we focus the first one, that is degree Fahrenheit of any given value, so will be equal to 9 by 5 into degree Celsius value plus 32. So this is the formula which is used either if degree Celsius value is there or degree Fahrenheit value is there. You can convert one value expressed in one scale to another. For example, if 25 degrees Celsius is there, if we take the value of 25 here, the expressed solution of this formula will give the value in degree Fahrenheit. So hence this is the formula used for conversion of degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius or degree Celsius value to degree Fahrenheit. Similarly, the another formula which is used for conversion of degree Celsius to Kelvin is, so it is Kelvin value will be equal to degree Celsius value plus 273.15. What is this 273.15? Why it is taken? So we are learning in detail from states of matter. So this is the lowest imaginary temperature where the gases occupy zero volume. Hence, this is very significant when we are learning in Kelvin scale. So that we'll try to learn with graphical illustration in the unit states of matter. Now, right now you can remember these two formula. Here in this formula, what is the significance of 9 and 5? So will be important for competitive exam. You can concentrate. So why that 9 by 5 is considered? Now this 9 by 5 to consider. So we are converting from degree Fahrenheit to degree Celsius scale. And the degree Fahrenheit range is 32 to, so you know the value is 212. 32 to 212. And so in the degree Celsius value, 0 to 100. So if you take the difference, 212 minus 32 is 180. 100 minus 0 is 100. So, and if you divide this, you will get, so the divisible term, so 2 is, you can take from 2, both the numbers are divisible. So 2 9s are 18, 2 5s are 10. Hence this 9 by 5, so is indicating the freezing point and boiling point of pure water in the difference of the degree Celsius scale and in the Fahrenheit scale. So hence the value 9 by 5 in the formula signifies that. And why it is plus 32? Because for converting the degree Celsius value, the initial scale value is added. So hence, so Fahrenheit scale value will be higher than the degree Celsius scale value range I am speaking. So try to focus this. Why it is 9 by 5, you can understand. So this will be competitive oriented. Why it is 9 by 5 taken. So this is not required for theory. So if you remember the formula, so it is sufficient for the theory exam. Now we'll try to solve few problems. So how it can be considered. Hope that is clear now. Few problems if we solve, you can easily understand. I will take the same. So that is room temperature 25 degrees Celsius. So convert the 25 degrees Celsius value to degree Fahrenheit and Kelvin scale. Now we'll take the simple formula wise in detailed calculation. So you can try in detailed first, then you can minimize that. So these questions are again very important for competitive exam. So conversion values are very, very important. Now first, whatever the degree Celsius value, if it is given, for converting that, so you can recall the formula. So for converting into degree Fahrenheit, the value to be multiplied is 9 by 5 into degree Celsius value plus the starting range of Fahrenheit, it is 32. Now here the degree Celsius value is given, that is 25 plus 32. Now if you simplify these values, so 9 into 25 if you take, it will be 225 divided by 5 if you do, so it will be 45. Or you can consider 5 and 25 are divisible, so 5 5 is then 9 into 5 is 45 plus 32. So for theory exam, you are allowed with a simple calculator. You can practice simple calculator usage only for board exam, but for competitive exams, calculators are not allowed. You need to improve your numerical skills. So simple mathematical operations to do and all. So you need to avoid calculators. So that will help for your competitive preparation. Now 45 plus 32, so it will be 87. So and the expressed unit is degree Fahrenheit. So hence, so we can take, so 25 degrees Celsius value, so in the Fahrenheit scale will be equal to 87. Now if you observe here, so there is a simple mistake in the calculation that you can correct it. So it is 4 plus 3, it is 77, which I have written is 87 is wrong. So correct it. Now we can compare in the scale. Now 25 degrees Celsius room temperature on the Fahrenheit scale, it is 77 degree Fahrenheit. Now how it is 77 degree Fahrenheit? Now you have consider with calculation part. So hence, so this is the formula for converting degree Celsius to Fahrenheit. Now we'll consider, so degree Fahrenheit, that is degree Celsius value to Kelvin scale. We know that, so Kelvin scale value will be equal to degree Celsius value plus 273.15. Either you can take this 15 or you can leave that 15, which is negligible value. Now degree Celsius value is 25 plus 273.15. So it will be 298.15 Kelvin. So hence, so 25 degrees Celsius. So in the Fahrenheit scale, it is 77 degree Fahrenheit, and on the Kelvin scale, it is 298.15 Kelvin. So you cannot expect the same always. That is, they may give Fahrenheit value and they may ask you to convert to degree Celsius also. For example, if Fahrenheit value is there, so this degree Celsius value, take it as X, and you find the X value, that will be the degree Celsius value. Similarly, so if Kelvin value is given, so you consider Kelvin value here, and Kelvin value is equal to X plus 273.15. X value will be, that is degree Celsius value will be equal to Kelvin scale value minus 273.15. If you do that, you will get the answer. So that is what you can compare here. Now 25 degrees Celsius on Kelvin scale is 298.15. Similarly, you try few more. So you can try 40 degrees Celsius, the body temperature 37 degrees Celsius, some 60 degrees Celsius, 90 degrees Celsius, etc. So at least 3 to 4 you try to have a practice. So now I will take one more just to solve if you have any doubts. So if you have any doubts here, you can. If you have any doubts, you can solve that. So we'll take the second one. So I will take 40 degrees Celsius to convert that into degree Fahrenheit value and what is its value in Kelvin scale. Now for the degree Fahrenheit value, we know that the degree Fahrenheit can be taken as 9/5 into degree Celsius value plus 32. So which is equal to 9/5, and its degree Celsius value is 5 plus 32. Again, this is a easily divisible one. So 5 ones, and you can consider 8. So 8 into 9, 72 plus 32. And the answer is 104 degree Fahrenheit. And 40 degree Celsius is equal to 104 degree Fahrenheit. Then, so its value in the Kelvin scale will be equal to degree Celsius value plus the starting scale range 273.15. So degree Celsius value is 40 plus 273.15. So it will be 283, 93, 303 and 313. Hence the value is 313.15 Kelvin. Hence 40 degrees Celsius is equal to 104 degree Fahrenheit or 313.15 Kelvin. You randomly take any degree Celsius value and try to convert. Minimum 3 to 4 you try to solve. So it will help for you to remember the concept. So with this, we'll try to stop for today's class. So remaining concepts we'll try to continue in our next class. Thank you.